Unstable Horsebones Podcast. Alan and Frank.
Welcome back, you beautiful bastards, to the second ever episode of Unstable Horsebones Podcast, where chaos meets a mild disappointment. I'm Frank Seabear, your captain on this sinking ship of conversation.
And I'm Alan Durbin, the guy in the back with a bucket, bailing out the water while Frank keeps drilling holes in the hull, possibly to dispose of a body.
Alan, you love the chaos. Admit it. You wouldn't be here if you didn't have some sort of secret death wish, or at least a morbid curiosity about how bad it could get.
I'm here because I happen to have a decent microphone I found in the conference room at the office.
Yeah. So, here we are, recording in your uncle's shed, surrounded by... What even is that smell? Is that...
Old fertilizer. He used to be a backyard tomato guy before he realized tomatoes aren't made of meat.
Your family really hits that sweet spot between boring and somewhat unhinged. It's like a sitcom no one asked for.
Speaking of unhinged, you didn't even tell me what this episode's about. We aren't flying blind again, are we?
Of course not. I've got topics lined up. We're going to talk about stuff that will come to my mind when the time comes. You know, things.
So, we're flying IFR with a plane full of sumo wrestlers.
Exactly. So, here comes Unstable Horsebones, Episode 2. Buckle up or don't. It has no effect on my inner tranquility.
And that's why I've started preemptively apologizing to anyone who listens to this.
So, Alan, tell me, what mind-numbing adventure did you endure in cubicle hell this week? Another thrilling chapter of the great stapler debate?
Oh, this week wasn't about staplers. No, this week we reached new heights. It was about coffee creamer.
Ah, the disgusting goop you dump in your corporate lowest bitter coffee so you can pretend it doesn't taste like a charbroiled jockstrap. That stuff is as far removed from a cow's udder as a can of WD-40.
Exactly. But you see, Frank, this wasn't just about any creamer. This was about Hazelnut Delight, something my co-worker Marvin believes is akin to the nectar of the gods.
Hazelnut Delight. Sounds like something you'd use to wax your balls with.
I wouldn't know. I like my coffee black and viscous, as if freshly harvested from the Athabasca oil sands. Anyway, someone used up the last of the Hazelnut Delight and failed to replace it.
Oh, the humanity.
So, our man Marvin launched a full-scale investigation. He went desk to desk, interrogating people like he was auditioning for CSI.
Please, tell me he had the sunglasses.
He wore his reading glasses, but he did take them off dramatically before every hypothesis.
That's commitment. I can respect that level of unnecessary drama.
Then, Marvin made a spreadsheet tracking coffee consumption patterns. He accused Przemysław, our janitor, of the crime, calling him a known creamer enthusiast with flexible Polish morals.
Oof. A known creamer enthusiast. Jesus Christ, Alan. These are the people you work with? I'm genuinely surprised you haven't snapped yet.
Well, as it turned out, Przemysław did snap a bit. He fed Marvin's tie into our industrial-grade document shredder. The machine wasn't fully satiated after just the tie, so things got a bit messy. You know how these things go.
Oh, I do, Alan. I do indeed.
It took the shredder a full 5 minutes to get to Marvin's toes. In retrospect, one of us probably could have just unplugged the machine before the carnage took place. But spilled milk and whatnot. Lucky for us, Przemysław is really good at his job. He got everything clean as a whistle in no time, even the splatters from the ceiling tiles.
Impressive.
Anyway, Herb from HR got a new creamer from shoppers across the street. Everyone got back to their cubicles, case closed, happy ending.
Executive producer, Dick Wolf. Moving on. Alan, I've often wondered, would you rather fight a pack of rabid beavers or live in a house made entirely of ham?
Are we talking prosciutto or your standard deli ham? Because structural integrity might vary.
Interesting question. I'm going to say standard deli ham. You know, the slimy stuff that falls apart if you look at it too hard.
In that case, I'll need some further clarifications. Are we talking about load-bearing ham here, or is the structure reinforced with hamless elements, like rebar or chopsticks?
Nope. Pure ham, Alan. This house is 100% AAFC certified, unadulterated, grade A ham.
Well, first of all, the roof would be a problem. Ham lacks tensile strength. Any decent snowfall would collapse it immediately. And don't even get me started on the insulation. That stuff's basically moist meat curtains.
Moist meat curtains.
You'd need constant refrigeration to stop it from rotting, which means high energy bills and a backup generator, not to mention the pest problem.
What kind of pests? Like raccoons, flies, hungry neighbors?
All of the above. Imagine waking up at 2 a.m. because a family of wolverines is licking your living room wall.
That's free home security right there. Wolverines included. Could be a selling point. Also, imagine the convenience of just peeling off a slice of interior wall whenever you're hungry.
Until the structural integrity of your ham mansion fails and you're crushed under a soggy pile of your own lunch meat.
Death by deli. What a way to go.
But the beavers aren't exactly a picnic either. Rabid, you said?
Foaming at the mouth. Furious little wood-chomping bastards.
How many beavers are in this hypothetical pack?
Let's say 12. That feels like a fair number.
12 rabid beavers. That's essentially a chainsaw with tiny legs. And they work as a team. You'd have to climb a tree to survive, but then they'd gnaw it down just to watch you fall.
You sound like you've put way too much thought into this. Okay, final verdict. Beaver fight or ham house?
Ham house. But only because I'm hungry right now.
Solid choice. I'd go with the beavers. At least then I get a chance to fight back. Plus, you know, beaver asses are made out of vanilla flavor. I love vanilla.
Beaver asses are not made out of vanilla. I think you're referring to castoreum here, an exudate shooting from beavers' castor sacs, used for marking territory, together with beaver wee.
Huh?
It's a common misconception. Castoreum is mostly used in perfume industry. It has a leathery scent. Artificial vanilla is pure vanillin, made out of guaiacol, which is extracted from either wood creosote or guaiacum.
My whole life has been a lie, Alan. All those beaver asses I've eaten over the years, all for naught.
Sorry, mate. I don't know what to tell you.
Buck-toothed bastards.
Let's channel that energy into something productive, like Christmas shopping. What are you getting people this year?
My ex is getting a glitter bomb because I believe in spreading festive chaos. Extra fine glitter. A curse eternal. You.
I'm trying to decide between practical and passive-aggressive. My sister keeps complaining about her bad posture, so I thought about getting her an ergonomic keyboard, but then I considered a bonsai starter kit. You know, give her something else to micromanage.
Bonsai. Bold move. You're betting on her drowning the plant instead of you for the reminder.
It's a calculated risk. What about your Uber customers? Any festive surprises for them?
Really went all out this year. I hung a candy cane off of my rearview mirror. Festive, right?
Inspirational. Truly. What about your parents? Please don't say glitter bomb.
Nah, nothing chaotic for them. I'm thinking a framed picture of their favorite child.
You have siblings.
Nope. Anyway, what about you? What's the most ridiculous gift you've ever given?
That would be the year I wrapped up a toaster I found in the office break room. Gave it to my cousin Mickey. He thought it was vintage dehumidifier and put it on his bathroom shelf.
Nice.
Turns out it was too heavy for the rickety shelf he had made out of chopsticks. Toaster meets bathtub. They fall in love. An age-old classic.
Rest in peace, Mickey.
Oh, Mickey was fine. Better than fine, in fact. His mother-in-law, visiting for the holidays, perhaps less so.
Ah, All's well that ends well. So, final verdict, bonsai or keyboard?
I'm going with bonsai. Worst case scenario, it dies and she gets a tiny pot for paper clips.
Functional and passive-aggressive. Good job.
Now, this is the point where we would plug our sponsors, if we had any. Wink Wink, Dutch Growers, or Wilson's Lifestyle Centre in Saskatoon.
You habitually steal from both of those places. I have my doubts. They want to put their bucks behind that.
So it's like I already have a sponsorship deal with them. Let's make it official. Call me.
Now, I will shamelessly plug any garbage that pays for it. I will put my reputation on the line for your subpar product. Unless it's beaver asses. Not falling for that one again.
And if you're not a massive mega corporation with more loose cash than sense, you can like, subscribe, leave a review, ding a bell, heart, share, whatever is available in your preferred podcast app.
Or else. Speaking of plugging subpar products, let's talk snow shovels. What's your take, Alan? Plastic, metal, or the rare artisanal hand-carved wooden variety for the hipster snow enthusiast?
Wooden shovel sounds more fitting for a Little House on the Prairie reenactment than actual work.
Don't knock it till you've tried it. I once bought a wooden shovel made from reclaimed barn wood. Looked amazing. Broke in half on its own before the first snowfall. A real metaphor for life, if you ask me.
If we're being practical, lightweight aluminum is the way to go. Durable, doesn't rust, and won't make your arms feel like you've been wrestling rabid beavers after 20 minutes.
Sure, but what about the heft? A good shovel needs some weight behind it. I've been rocking a Franken shovel I made myself. Steel blade, duct tape handle, and a grip fashioned out of an old bike tire. Indestructible.
Incredible, until you get tetanus. Did you ever end up getting your tetanus shot? Or are you just banking on sheer stubbornness to ward it off?
Alan, my whole life is held together by sheer stubbornness and duct tape.
Well, when you inevitably end up in the ER because your Frankenshovel developed a taste for blood, I'll be sure to bring a bouquet of Galanthus nivalis.
Appreciate it, Alan.
But let's get serious for a second. Do you know what really separates a good shovel from a bad one? Ergonomics. You don't think about it until you're halfway through clearing the driveway and your lower back starts sending you frantic messages in Morse code.
Back pain is for quitters. A Buddhist guru I met in Bangkok taught me to overwhelm physical pain with emotional pain so you can continue when others fall. So, for example, you can slap yourself on the sack as hard as you can. The colder it is out there, the more effective it is.
I'm not sure that counts as emotional pain. Maybe it does. Anyway, back to shovels. Final verdict?
Franken shovel. It's got soul.
Aluminum. It's got sanity.
Agree to disagree. On the topic of duct tape, did you know you can fix a cracked engine block of a Chevrolet LE2 V6 with duct tape?
You can't. That's not a thing.
You're just not using enough duct tape. First, you clean the crack with brake cleaner. Slap some JB Weld in there. Love that stuff. And then you wrap it with about 30 layers of duct tape. Watertight seal. It held for 3 months, Alan. 3 months.
That's simultaneously impressive and horrifying.
Oh, it gets better. The wiper blades wore down to bare metal last winter, so I replaced them with fluffy, plushy piglets soaked in moonshine. They didn't do the job too well, but the idea itself was solid.
You're out here MacGyvering windshield wipers with contraband alcohol. I should nominate you for the Richard Dean Anderson Lifetime Achievement Trophy.
Call the award committee, Alan. Furthermore, the exhaust, held up by the leather harness I brought back from Thailand. Sturdy and stylish.
Ah, yes. your red light district work uniform.
Strapped with memories and utility. Speaking of which, the side view mirror fell off a year ago. Replaced it with a well-polished aluminum hubcap, hot glued right to the door. Works like a charm.
I've been meaning to ask, what happened to the hatched liftgate?
I might have bartered it for gas money, covered the gaping hole with a winter jacket I found in your closet, secured in place with a generous length of Gorilla tape.
That's where it went.
Look, Alan, when life gives you a lemon, you squeeze it until it renounces its roots as a member of Rutaceae family. That's the sea bear way.
I'm very upset about the coat, but also very impressed by that botanical muscle flexing there.
While we're being impressed, I'm kind of impressed by that brand new 75-inch TV you have hanging on in this shed. If we had electricity here, we could turn this into a home theater.
Best Buy had them on sale. I always wanted one, but it won't fit into my basement suite.
That doesn't sound like responsible handling of personal finances.
Oh, I didn't exactly buy it. More like I acquired it. Legally, debatable. Efficiently, absolutely.
Go on.
I walked in during the lunchtime rush. Nobody questions a guy in a high-vis vest with a clipboard during peak chaos. I even pretended to check some wires near the display for good measure.
Nobody stopped you?
A blue shirt asked if I needed help, so I told her corporate sent me to inspect the load-bearing capacity of the mounts, and then I just wheeled it out on one of their carts.
Poor Best Buy.
It's a giant corporation. They'll survive. In a way, I'm standing up for all the small local mom-and-pop electronics stores. Besides, I gave the TV a good home.
In a garden shed with no electricity. You truly are a Robin Hood of our times, Alan.
The hard part was hauling it all the way here through the blizzard, pulling the cart on my bicycle. If I got a toonie for every time I fell over, I could have bought the damn thing and had it delivered.
Dedication to the craft. I can appreciate that.
Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to hustle that counts. Sir Winston Churchill said that. Probably.
I've always been conflicted about Churchill. On one hand, he looked like a harmless, cuddly bulldog. On the other, he was Winston Churchill.
I have respect for his ability to appear overinflated to the point of popping, but at the same time having loose skin 5 sizes too big. Truly astounding.
Indeed. He was a riddle, wrapped in a mystery, inside an enema.
While we're on the topic of enemas, how's your unlicensed e-taxi business going?
Well, let me tell you about my latest fare. A big bearded guy. Looked like a Hells Angels enforcer. Apparently a long-haul truck driver coming back from his company Christmas party. Drunk on rum eggnog and Web 2.0. He wouldn't stop talking about NFTs. You know, Alan, I've never wanted to strangle a man with a tinsel so badly in my life.
NFTs, huh? What does the Venn diagram of truckers and crypto bros even look like?
From what I can tell, it might be a perfect circle. So the man starts explaining blockchain to me, like it's the new sliced bread. And then, get this, tries to pay for the ride in Dogecoin.
Dogecoin. Did you let him?
Hell no. I told him our monopoly money is already embarrassing enough without him throwing cartoon dogs into the mix.
So how did it end?
After a bit of commotion, I walked away with $10, a fully spent Visa gift card, a Class 1 driver's license, an expired condom, a thoroughly shattered smartphone, and a worn leather wallet that, judging by the smell, was made out of hyena nutsacks. Our enlightened blockchain engineer went for a daring swim in South Saskatchewan River.
A non-fungible experience, surely.
He's in a better place now.
Frank, you probably shouldn't be sending people for daring swims every time they annoy you.
I didn't send him. I simply opened the door to new experiences. Gravity did the rest. Nature is both beautiful and cruel.
One day, your extracurricular activities are going to catch up with you.
Karma is on my side, Alan.
Men are not punished for their sins, but by them. Writer and philosopher Elbert Hubbard said that. In an unexpected plot twist, Hubbard then went for a daring swim in the Atlantic Ocean after a German U-boat sank the ship he was traveling on. Alanis Morissette might call that irony.
Alanis Morissette is Canada's Celine Dion, Alan. And while we're on the topic of Celine Dion, I went to that new liquor store downtown yesterday.
Oh? Expanding your horizons beyond discount beer.
Don't get your hopes up. I was assaulted by a wall of craft beers with names like Lichen and Lime and Moonlight Whisper.
Craft beers are an art form, Frank. They're about exploring new flavors, supporting local breweries.
They're about paying $10 for a pint that tastes like a burnt bedside sock. Tried one called Bearded Sage's Pale Ale. The aroma was buttery, almost pungent, like an expired steel worker in a trunk of a car after a warm summer day. The flavor profile had notes of rich earwax, earthy undertones of a cozy outhouse, and a tangy metallic aftertaste of a pocketful of old pennies. It had a dense, tightly woven mouthfeel, reminiscent of a flabby badger taint.
Maybe you picked a bad one. There are some excellent stouts and IPAs out there.
Give me a cold, cheap lager any day. If I have to Google half the ingredients, it's not worth it.
You have the palate of a college freshman.
And proud of it. Food and drink should be simple, like my signature dish.
Dare I ask?
Microwaved nachos with sprayed cheese. 2 minutes to perfection.
That's not cooking. That's a cry for help.
Says the man who thinks quinoa salad is a meal.
Quinoa is a superfood. It's packed with nutrients.
It's bird food that got ideas above its station.
You might live longer if you ate something green once in a while.
I eat pickles. Life's too short for rabbit food. Give me lard and a beer that doesn't taste like a science experiment.
You know, sometimes I wonder how you're still alive.
We've covered this already. It's sheer stubbornness. And maybe the preservatives are keeping me young.
Or slowly embalming you from the inside.
At least I'll be well preserved for the open casket.
Charming thought.
Speaking of charming, Alan, I think we've charmed the panties off our listeners long enough for one show. Time to call it a day.
Agreed. So, any parting words of wisdom?
Always keep duct tape on your person. Never anger a Polish guy. And never trust a beaver's butt.
And eat something green once in a while.
Fine. Pickles it is.
Good enough. This has been Unstable Horsebones. Thanks for listening.
Or for enduring. Until next time, stay succulent.